So I ended up taking no trades today on NASDAQ or ES. So I'm going to do a breakdown on both during the morning session and kind of go over why that was the case. We'll go over here on news today. Today we did have high impact news at 10, which definitely affected the market. We had PMI at 10 a.m. along with non-farm employment, which didn't do anything, but we also had final service PMI, which this did absolutely nothing, but this definitely did something to the market. So we're going to go over both. So obviously we see hourly time frame. We do have some very obvious draws of liquidity. We are just making even more of them. So we have, for today at least, was here. Earlier today was London session highs, which I was figured we were going to take out, but we do have yesterday's highs intact, yesterday London session highs intact, and yesterday Asia session highs all intact. So I figured these were going to be some very key draws of liquidity. Earlier today, there really wasn't much we see with these doji candles. At the time, we had London session lows, which were located right here, and then we can see on the 5-minute, we really didn't get much of a reaction at all, at least this morning, in regards to a reaction off of here. So that was very, not like concerning, but just kind of figured like, hey, we're not getting any reaction out of here. There's not going to be much of a trade, but we will see in a second how obvious that big move was. We did have a gigantic SMT here at the time. So if we see on the 5-minute, we see, we see it was right around here where ES was making these higher highs right around here, while NASDAQ over here was making significantly lower lows, making this the lagging index, but I still wanted to trade ES regardless. We did take out this internal draw of liquidity on the hourly from yesterday's New York session as well, but this really, I wasn't paying too much attention to this. I did mark it out this low, but it wasn't like that big of a deal. I wasn't really going to take a trade anyways today with price action. We did see at 10 a.m. though, there was a drastic candle, and you can kind of point this out, pretty obvious. This was the candle from news, so this did chop up the market a little bit. I was fairly bullish just simply because I wanted to see these highs get taken out. I figured we weren't going to reach these equal highs, but I figured we could take these highs out, and obviously we see that we did, and we just left another high right here. So I'm hoping that tomorrow we end up just wiping these out, but I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow, but obviously you can't jump the gun too early. So we see we get this big move. So I was looking for a lot of continuation confluences on the smaller time frames. We'll see we get a pretty big sell-off here. On the 5-minute, there were a few things I was looking at. Coming into the open, we see right around here is where we kind of just are like losing it, right? We're just continuing to be bearish. We're continuing to kind of be choppy. Honestly, there really wasn't. I'm not really seeing much. So we see market opens right around here this morning. So 14:30, we have market open right here. And then we're seeing continuation down, which is fine. We're kind of finishing off this bottom of New York session here. We do form this breaker block right here, so we have this final move down before the move up. So we did get a complete closure below this. Kind of wanted to take a short off of this, honestly. It wasn't a terrible play. We completely filled. We get a complete closure below. We kind of tap back into it and continue to move down. And then on the 1-minute, we did have a fairly large imbalance that you really could have targeted. Oh wait, no, this was yesterday. That's why this wasn't looking right. Okay, sorry about that. That's embarrassing. But for today at least, there was some continuation of the downside that you could have definitely taken a trade off of. So going on this 5-minute time frame, we see, I mean, obviously it doesn't really look like much, but there was a very tiny trade here. So we see right around here, we have this fair value gap that we got complete closure below. So we got a break of structure to the downside on the 5-minute. And then also the bottom of this fair value gap was going to get filled. So if we go on the 1-minute, we see we get that complete closure below, which happened to be like right at the top of this fair value gap. So we get this kind of like this wick up. I mean, if you took a short here, this was kind of like what I was looking at. I was kind of eyeing this down, just more continuation, and just target the bottom or like retest or like even these lows or even or something. It was just kind of hard because there really wasn't like a clear take profit point, but definitely would have been smashed to 86. Which would have been right here, yeah. Would have been a pretty easy short, really quick one. But again, there wasn't like any big trades today. It was just these really small continuation ones. Like this was like the best one I could find, and that's not a lot of confluence. And even based off of us just sweeping out London session lows, and with all these draws of liquidity that I'm sure are going to get taken out. Nasdaq was the same thing. We did have this pretty aggressive move up right before the macro, so I'm like, hey, let's go. We're going to long John Silver, but it was a good thing I waited until news came out, because we ended up getting a very severe candle to the upside, which wouldn't have been a bad thing, but then I think it kind of affected the market, because we can see, especially if we go on the 5-minute, that we were just chopping the rest of New York session, at least this morning. And then this afternoon was actually a little bit better with just a continuation. It was pretty obvious that these highs were going to get taken out. So if you took a trade kind of like this afternoon, it was pretty easy, because those highs were for sure going to be taken out. But like I said, this morning was pretty choppy. We just didn't really. I mean, if you look on the 5-minute on ES, I mean, this just doesn't. There's not much here. Like I said, that fair value gap was probably their best play to just catch a few points. But other than that, I mean, there really wasn't much today. But tomorrow looks a lot better. We do have a lot of news at 8:30 though. We have like no news actually tomorrow. I was thinking of Friday. Friday we have Powell speaking at noon, so that's way too close to the market. I'm probably not gonna be trading that, but we do have unemployment tomorrow, and that's it. So it should be a little bit better conditions wise. That 10 a.m. news can sometimes throw a wrench in the market, and I think that's what happened today.